Proud Boys leader pleads guilty to burning the church's Black Lives Matter banner. You remember this. Everybody remembers when this went down. So the leader, his name is Henry Enrique Tarrio, AKA the prolific snitch. I didn't say that. That's what the attorney said about him in the unsealed court documents. They called him a prolific snitch. Well, this prolific snitch has now pleaded guilty to burning the Black Lives Matter banner. That picture went viral. Each offense carries a maximum of 180 days in prison and a $1,000 fine. The sentence hearing is scheduled on August 23rd. We're gonna keep an eye on that. But here's what I'm questioning. Because obviously this guy is involved in a criminal enterprise. The Proud Boys, in my opinion, they are a criminal network. But he did light something on fire on somebody else's property, ripped it off of the building. Why not arson? Why not felony arson? Why not felony trespass? Felony destruction of property? Let me remind you of this photo and how they are glorifying the action of burning something that has the word black on it. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looked like. Remember that? Remember that photo? Remember that scene? They are celebrating, think about it. They are celebrating the burning of something that says, my life matters. Your life matters. Because see, if Black lives matter, everybody's life matters. They're burning it because it says black. Do you understand? They don't care that it says lives matter. They're burning it because it says black. There's no argument about the KKK being antithetical to black people. Nobody would debate that. There's no ambiguity in that sentiment. They used to burn something too to show their disdain for blackness. Well, I'll be damned. Those pictures are extremely similar. See, it's the same sentiment. It's the same motivation, the same agenda to stop the progress of people of color because their privilege has been threatened. They are fragile, and this is their fragility in operation. The national leader of the Proud Boys, a far-right extremist group, pleaded guilty Monday to 2 charges, including one involving the burning of a Black Lives Matter banner stolen from a Washington, D.C. church. They didn't even get charged with theft, by the way. On December 12th, 2020, a group of Proud Boys, including Tarrio, stole a banner that read hashtag Black Lives Matter from the property of the Asbury United Methodist Church. This is a very historical church. The banner also had the logo and website address of the church, the city's oldest Black Methodist church. Henry Enrique Tarrio, 37 years of age, of Miami, Florida, pleaded guilty in the Superior Court of the District of Columbia to 1 count of destruction of property and a local weapons charge, according to a Department of Justice press release. Now, here's what it carries, okay? If he gets absolutely nothing else, here's what it carries. Each offense carries a maximum sentence of 180 days in prison and or $1,000 fine. Tarrio's sentencing hearing is scheduled for August 23rd, and the court has ordered him to stay away from Washington, D.C. before his hearing. This cat is dangerous, and he runs with dangerous people. You see, these individuals are thugs, but the narrative would like you to believe that children that steal candy from a store during an unfortunate situation, those are the thugs. No, those aren't thugs. These are the thugs, these people. To talk about this and a lot more, we have Adrienne Lawrence, attorney at law, TYT contributor. Adrienne, what's your take?
Well, I'm glad that he was charged with something to begin with, because Lord knows 5-10 years ago, there would have been no charges whatsoever. But also I think the January 6th insurrection has played a role in ensuring that individuals are charged. But the reality is that it is a flag. It does have significance in terms of the racial aspect of Black Lives Matter. So you would think that it's going to be a misdemeanor charge, which is exactly what he faced here, going up to 180 days in jail and or $1,000 fine. But if there was a possibility of adding a hate crime element to that to trump up the charge, you would have thought that would have happened here. The only kind of redeeming thing I would like to give the prosecutors in this instance is hoping that this man, Tario, as he's been known to flip, will continue to do so, because we do know that the FBI is investigating and that there is potential charges of conspiracy that are much larger and bigger against members of the Proud Boys. And so in the event that they need a witness, Tario may well be that individual. So we don't quite know yet what the full breadth of the charges could be in the larger framework of the Proud Boys, but it would have been nice if this is just an isolated charge here, if there could have been, more egregious, more significant charges, but that's not what we got.
All right, so I definitely get your points. Let me bring up a few as well. There was a story I covered just a few days ago, where a back of the blue sign in a small community was crumpled and thrown in the trash can. Well, a police officer, a deputy sheriff, saw this action, arrested the 19-year-old college student who did it. After the arrest for intimidating a police officer, which is crazy as hell. After that arrest, the prosecutor enhanced it for the hate crime violation, because in that state last year, they passed a hate crimes bill protecting police officers. So you have that, right? This person has the book thrown at them. What has happened to prosecutors saying things like, we're going to prosecute violators to the fullest extent of the law? I haven't heard that narrative. I don't feel that same energy as it relates to these individuals committing acts of domestic terrorism.
Of course not. The energy is not there, because we have to ask ourselves what's promoting white supremacy. And in the event of Tario, it is not, well, it is promoting white supremacy for him to tear down the Black Lives Matter flag. But of that woman in Utah, no, it's kind of the antithesis to that. And as a result, she is going to face those harsh, aggravated, trumped up, unnecessary penalties. And this is just really, it's a reflection of our system. Who are we looking to protect? Who are we looking to uplift? What are the narratives that we want to be reinforced? Who do we want to intimidate? And what voices do we want to silence? And this shows us, this disparity here, exactly how it works and goes down.
And we talked about this before, there's this psychological connection to the law and also how it's applied, right? If you have a law that says, okay, if you commit an act of domestic terrorism, that's wrong, that's a violation, and you will have a stiff penalty. But if you allow people to do it, basically get away with it with days, some won't even receive any jail time. What message does that send to the other would-be domestic terrorists in the United States of America?
That we're all not created equal, and also all laws aren't enforced equally. The fact is that we have a nation that was built on reinforcing disparities, racism, sexism, all of the isms whatsoever, and it is still operating as such. And the laws and situations like this just prove that point even more.
Sometimes I look at these stories, Adrienne, and I really do wonder, is there really a single white person alive who believes that disparities in the races do not exist? Now, obviously, we know they push that narrative. They will say things like this. They will say, oh, no, it's all about your individual work. It is all about what you put in, and there's no systemic bias or systemic racism. But obviously, the facts are staggering. Do you think that there are some people who really believe the hype, or are they just promoting the hype?
Oh, I think in part that they're promoting the hype. Either that or they're lying to themselves, because Lord knows they are lying to us.
That's a big lie.
Because you cannot ignore the facts. You can't ignore the stats. You can't ignore what you see. But there are so many people out there who want to believe that Black people or brown people are more criminal. And that's the reason why that they're involved with the police so often. And it's like, give me a break. Just because, again, you like to lie to yourself doesn't mean you can lie to me. I know what the system is. I know how it operates, and I know how you bolster it with the lies.
Very well said.